should read Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Let me see if we can get cool intro. Nice. I think it is, well, it's definitely, okay. First of all, me as a 25-year-old, I guess, I would like to say still young adult, but 25-year-old adult male, this book isn't really meant for me, or I'm not the exact target audience for this book, right? More of it is my younger sister, who's the one that suggested it. It was something that I did want to read because of the Netflix adaptation that did come up. I haven't watched it yet. I decided to read it. Before I watched it, it's been like 3-4 months since it came out, so I'm a little behind, but I'm trying to keep up. What can I say? But anyways, so yeah, I'm not the target audience for this book, and I do have to preface that. That is why I liked it, or why I think you should like it, is a little bit different than maybe the point of what the author wanted you to like. I don't know if that made sense, but yeah, sounds good. So first of all, I think why you should read Shadow and Bone, the biggest reason is because of the world, or because of this culture that was created. First of all, I think it's really cool that it's Russian or Slavic themed. Usually it's more of this Germanic or English type culture that usually just seeps into the book versus Russian, right? This is, I think, quite rare. And for that, I would say that it's cool, that it has this element, and it keeps this familiarity to it, like, I can relate to some of that. I understand. I don't understand Russian, but I know some words like da, and they say da. Nice. It's not completely this out of the world culture, right, that has nothing to do with our own, but it has this little it has this little connection, right, or this common base with our world, and I think that's really cool. I do think that a big reason also why you should read it is because of the Grisha, or their superheroes, or people with power. The people with power, or powers. I guess they're not the ones necessarily in power, but they're the ones that have powers. The Grisha, I think their magic system is something that is quite fascinating, and how it is split up and how it's broken up. You don't really understand why they have the magic or what gives them the power necessarily. You start to learn a little bit throughout the series, but for the first book, you do not know. Nor is it really explained, and I actually still have really no idea. Alina, I have to be very grateful that she isn't completely busted. Usually when it comes to books in the young adult genre and you have a main character, sometimes these main characters can just, from the one day to the next, they just all of a sudden have a huge grasp on their powers, and they're extremely overpowered, beating people or destroying people that had years and years of training, right? I just think that's a little, how do you say, it's a little, it's okay, unrealistic, but I mean, it is unrealistic. Even, okay, we're talking about magical powers here, but it's unrealistic that someone that just learned their powers, even if they're stronger than most, have no time to train. The reason for her holding her powers back, or not completely stepping and grasping her powers from the beginning, this mental block that she has, I think it's really well explained, and the reason for it is something that I think a lot of people can relate to. And I don't want to go into so much detail because it will spoil, I think, a big point in the book. But I would just say that the author did a good job, really, I guess, having or describing this mental block from her really, I guess, becoming this powerful Grisha that she's meant to be. Another thing that I really enjoyed, or why you should read this book, is because of the political tension, or this society that has been built up. Of course, the society is already completely on the verge of complete collapse, or civil war, because of the shadow fold that is just cutting through their country of Ravka, and has made it very difficult for them to actually trade or go to the seaports. It strains the land a little bit, right? And you have this tension begin to grow between the monarchy and the first army, which are like you and me, right, normal people, and then the second army, which has the Grisha, with, of course, the commander as the Darkling, which is this super extremely powerful Grisha that is like one of a kind and kind of busted, right? So you have these two opposing forces. You have the side that has all the power in a sense, and then you have the side that actually has all the power in a sense. You have the ones that are in control of everything, and the ones that actually have these innate abilities that can destroy or level fields and destroy armies. And I think this tension between the two, that it's just escalated because of where their state of their country is in, I think is well done, and the author does a good job explaining and exploring this element well. And I really did enjoy that. Though I have to say, that's really not the point of the book, or really why people would enjoy it. But for me, it was really enjoyable, and I think it's a huge reason why you should read Shadow and Bone. But of course, I think one thing that I'm going to say, even though that is probably the biggest reason why people read this, is because of the romance inside of it. I have to say, it's just so predictable, and I think if they took, or if the author took a little bit more time, if she took more time just spreading it out throughout the series and didn't rush right to, the person that she will always inevitably, without a doubt, fall in love with, if they had maybe developed a little bit more, or haven't just continued on, like they have this brother and sister relationship that I think is quite beautiful, and if they just continued to play with that for a few more books, I think it would have been nicer, or less predictable, and a little bit more, maybe more refreshing of this romance genre, or this romance side of the fantasy genre. And I would have enjoyed it a little bit more, but of course this is really not the target audience for this book, and so naturally then that isn't really the case. And I don't know, it would have been cool, but that's alright. I think the main reasons were, of course, I think the Grisha and these magical system that they have, the political tension between the monarchy and the Darkling with the Second Army, and I just like the Slavic themed world, or the Slavic themed culture that they live in, and I think that's really cool. Anyways, if you read Shadow and Bone, or have seen the Netflix adaptation, I haven't seen it yet, but I look forward to seeing it. Let me know down below. And of course, I hope you're having an amazing day. Peace.